Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to something completely different. My name's James Ivy.
And I'm Larry North. You are very welcome.
Are you actually Larry? You're not actually Larry North, are you? Believe it or not, mate, there's 10 people watching this. We thought we'd do something a little bit different this morning. Now, I've been investigating the legality of what we want to do. And I've even phoned Gardner Holgate, and they actually can't tell me, strictly speaking, if what we're doing is legal or illegal. However, we are going to do our best to kind of commentate, if you like, in a kind of sports pundit fashion, don't you know, on today's day one of three days of the Gardner Holgate auctions. They do these auctions quarterly. They're normally a couple of 3 days. There's some interesting stuff in there. It goes live theoretically at 10 a.m. with their online bidding platform. We are not being sponsored by Gardner Holgate to do this. We're doing it because it's a bit of fun. And quite frankly, if you look out there, which of course you can't because you're not here, we've got about 2 inches of snow. And my client for today has decided, probably accurately, that the best thing to do is not to venture out onto the roads where there's accidents and stupid people. So, yeah, we thought we'd come on and do this. It'd be a bit of fun. There's a lot of stuff that I'm quite interested in. Whether I actually get trigger happy and, actually do the deed, I'm not sure yet. But we thought it might be quite good fun to talk through the lots as they come up and have a bit of a laugh with some of the prices, or basically not laugh and go, wow, that went for a sensible amount or whatever. We're not quite sure how this is going to work yet. If you want to follow along and keep an eye on the auction itself, you'll be able to hear it in the background. We'll tell you what the lots are and a bit about each one and how the pricing's going and how the bidding's going. But the best way to do it is to follow the link that I've posted to Gardner Holgate, and it's auctions.gardnerholgate.co.uk. Then click on bid now. It won't, unless you've registered to bid, it won't make you spend any money. Don't panic. It's a bit of fun, but you can watch along. If you mute the sound or just watch along, you'll get where we're going. It should all make sense. They normally start at 10 o'clock. But hey, they might be a bit on the drag, due to the snow. They are in a particularly snow-laden part of the world down near Bath. So
the intriguing thing is, I am about an hour's drive up the road from you, James?
If that, yeah.
And there wasn't even a frost on the car window this morning when I took the kids to school.
Wow.
Nothing.
And my client, who's coming from Kent, says it's 10 inches. But Kent is always
badly
hit.
The brunt of it, doesn't it, off the channel?
Yes. So speaking of all things auction and all that, and any second now they'll go live. Anything that you've spotted in the what's the sale brochure? The auction.
I had a look through the catalogue and quite extensively actually. And I was drawn into this particular edition of their auctions, most specifically because I love George Harrison. I know it's not an unusual thing for people that play guitar to think that he's was a genius, rest his soul. In this auction, there is an Eric Clapton Bassman, and it's one of two which he purchased and used on the road whilst George was in the band with him. And vice versa. So the very fact that something has been touched by two guitar deities, that really intrigues me. I am not in a position to purchase such a thing because they're suggesting that it's going to start at about 10k and go from there. That is essentially the greater chunk of the fund which I've got in order to build a shed not dissimilar to James's. So I won't be getting trigger happy to that extent. There are a few other bits and bats in there, though, some of which you, of course, played at the guitar show the other week, James.
Yes, there's a couple of interesting things. They are now about to set up and go live, so you'll hear them sort of faffing around in the background. What's interesting is there is a Pete Townsend Gibson 1971 D37, I think, that they estimate between 35 and 45 grand. However, A lot of the stuff I'm looking at, I did try the Explorer, the Carina Explorer, as in the one they've got for sale. I think is an 80, I want to say 83, circa 83. Between 3.5 and 5.5 grand. Now, I thought that was a bit punchy because the guitar. Oh, they've gone again. I didn't think it was that great. It was a bit of a baseball bat, and I know they are chunky neck guitars anyway, just because they're through neck, and it's a Gibson.
Yeah,
but that's a lot of money for that guitar, I think.
Yes.
There is an Explorer later on that I'm looking at,
right?
A 97, which I think might be more in my budget.
Right.
There's some other guitars that are interesting in there. I mean, there's a Silver Sky in there that they reckon between 800 and 1,200, and a proper American Silver Sky. Now, I think that's going to fly. I think that will go way higher than that.
There's some scope. I think it's worth, I'm telling some people how to suck eggs here, I'm sure. Worth bearing in mind that the auction house will add just over 26% to whatever the hammer price is. There is the potential, as those of you who've watched this channel in the past will know, James has done very nicely out of some of these things in terms of being a bit of a Del boy. Get something for one price, flog it on for another price.
Yes.
That's commerce, isn't it? It's one of those things. There are millionaires that have created their wealth from eBay.
It's nice to see
reinventing the wheel, is it?
No, it's exactly not. It's nice to see some of the regulars in. Al Lindsay's on watching this morning. SDR's in. Distant Sun Studios, Z Peps is in. Hollywood Actress. Great to see you with us. We probably won't be able to keep up to speed with what's going on in the chat and what's going on in the auctions. We will be back this evening at the normal 8 o'clock time. Greg and I again tonight. Paul sends his apologies. He's got bigger fish to fry, so to speak.
Yes.
Dave McCullen says, good morning. Unfortunately, have to work, so we'll miss the auction extravaganza.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, sorry about that. Al said there's a tasty J45 on there. There certainly is.
Yeah.
Mendel Rocks is in. Davey Woodford's in. Keith Milner's in. Great to see you all with us. Thanks for joining us for this one that's slightly left of center. We don't really know how this is going to go yet. Please, if you can join along and watch the auction in real time, great. Please let us know if you can hear what they're saying. What I would have loved to have done.
I can't.
Actually, you can't. No, they've gone offline at the moment for some reason.
That'll be it.
I'm going to refresh though.
What you would love to have done?
I would love to have done is be able to put their screen into this broadcast. But no one can actually give me a definitive yes, no on whether that's legal or not, or whether it will get taken down by YouTube or not.
Yeah.
So we're not going that route until I can find out officially from someone whether that's actually legal or allowed or anything like that. We're not going to do it because that's just silly.
Yeah. But safety first.
Yes, safety first, and indeed safety second. Funky Bass UK is with us. He says there's a Gibson EBS 1250 is something I've dreamt about for decades. Last one I heard, an ex-Morris Gibb one, and this is an ex-Mike Oldfield one. So, yeah, there's also Mike. There's also a double neck Mike Oldfield guitar going, which is going to go silly money. I'm sure.
I think the start for that one, or the estimate, is 10K. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see who's had a successful tax return, won't it?
Yes,
for that one.
But there's a lot of Strats, a lot of nice American Strats. There's a lot of lefties early doors as well. So,
yeah.
I can't remember who is a lefty. But there's a lot of left-hand and nice. Les Pauls and Les Paul Juniors and Deluxes, things like that going early doors, that lefties tend to go quite inexpensively.
Yeah, as I was looking through the catalogue again last night in preparation for this little gathering, I noticed that there is a considerable reduction. And I wonder if any of the regulars are lefties, does this annoy you? Do you get them cheaper from the factory if you're buying new, or is it the same price and then you've just got to accept that you'll take a hit if you're going to move them on in years to come? Or do you just go down the route of, well, I'd rather not lose the cash, I'll buy used and somebody else can take the hit, so I don't have to suffer it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem buying secondhand guitars, because generally they fall into the category vintage rather than nearly new. I mean, most of the stuff I'm looking at is sort of 80s, 90s, and scarily, that's 30 odd years ago now, nearly 40 years ago in many cases. Some of the amps that I'm looking at, it's a 3-day auction, so tomorrow for me is actually more interesting because there's a lot of mics and tech stuff. And I also had a crazy idea for a video that I'll run past you as the community. So please let me know if you think this is a good one. In the auctions, there's always loads of guitar parts and bodies and necks and pickups and stuff. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a, for lack of a better phrase, parts caster from bits and pieces I've bought at the auction video? Build a guitar from bits and pieces and do something a bit weird. And this comes from my absolute will to get a Strat with a humbucker in the neck position.
Okay.
You cannot buy them for love nor money. It's clearly something that people have tweaked and what's it about with. I've got, a router and woodworking type tools. I'm fairly handy. I'm going to get creative. All right, Luke's on. So,
starting with guitars, artist-related guitars and memorabilia coming up later on in the afternoon.
Can you hear him?
We've got lots to get through today, so I'll make.
I can hear him. Yes.
Okay. Sold as seen as per our buyers' terms and conditions.
Annoyingly, I cannot log on myself.
Price premium is 26.4%, including VAT on the hammer price. That applies to those of you in the room and those bidding on the GH Live platform. Those on Easy Live platform, you have the surcharge that you've signed up to bid with. And those on the Sorum.com, you have to pay an extra 4.95% plus VAT.
Okay, thanks, Funky Bass. You can hear him okay. We'll keep you up to speed as far as we can and not talk over each other. But...
And you've all had a chance to, in person, and those of you who have viewed, you've all had a chance to satisfy yourself with the condition and originality of all lots. The comments that we make in the catalogue are not necessarily fact. They're just a guidance. And those of you who haven't bid, you've had your chance to ask for a condition report. Those of you who are out there, if you haven't asked for a condition report,
Davey Woodford said, Lefty here with zero money today. Bugger.
Unfortunate, mate. Unfortunate.
Really are buying blind. And that's fine. Please do so if you wish. But just be aware that there can sometimes be condition issues that haven't been seen.
Having met Luke a couple of times now, having met Luke now a couple of times, he's a very good guitarist and very serious about what he does. So they get very upset when things don't turn out to be what they think they are.
Probably best when the amount of money that he's potentially shifting around for people. Do need to take it seriously, don't you? Right, I've managed to get the live screen up now, so I'm going to close superfluous screens on my machine.
You're going to have to pay direct to bank. There is no other alternative.
So the first lot number one is a 2009 Les Paul left-hander, kind of a reddy orange burst. Again, I'm not technically sure of the actual official Gibson terminology, but it's very pretty.
It is, isn't it?
Someone's already put the opening bid of $1,000 in. In my experience, it will be people will hold. Now goes Matt.
Yeah, go crazy. Yeah, logical enough, isn't it?
Hammer goes down as a bid comes in.
I'm as we're listening to him give the background, the preamble, looking on StratocasterDesign.com for humbucker pickup orientations and the like to see what James's dream Strat could look like.
And we may have to open up.
I saw it.
Isn't the Iron Maiden signature model HSH?
Yes, but there's not SSH. There's HHS, but not SSH.
Oh, I see. So you want a single coil on the bridge?
In the bridge, and I want a humbucker in the neck. Only because I heard it, I saw it and heard it on a Bon Jovi video, which I know sounds horrendous, but it was a great noise, and I thought, I'll ask them on that.
Yeah.
And we're going to start
right, here we go.
We've got 200 more guitars coming up tomorrow, as you will know.
Crazy day.
The first 500 lots or so.
I can't believe there's 31 people watching us as well.
I can, James. I've seen you in the flesh.
The 2009 Gibson Les Paul Standard.
What's he saying then?
Les Paul Standard is starting. Oh, 850.
Oh, here we go. It's happening.
Yeah, we're on. 880 is a good price for that guitar.
It's a lot of guitar, isn't it, for less than £1,000? Here we go. It's starting to happen.
900 quid in the room. That would be an absolute steal. That's a steal.
Wow.
And that proves one thing. Oh, hang on, no, 950 in the room. That's still a steal for that guitar because it's a lefty.
Yeah.
Hammer's going down at 950 in the room, all done at 950.
Wowzers.
That's awesome. Someone's got themselves a deal on that one.
But just.
Gibson Custom Shop 57 VOS Les Paul Junior left-handed electric.
Oh, he doesn't waste any time, does he?
No. They've got 500 to get through.
Yeah.
See, this is going to fly because it's slightly different. 2009 Custom Shop. It's already at 2550.
Dog ear. But we're already into
1,250.
Last chance at 1250. All done all short at 1250.
Wow. Now this one will go high. A 76 Les Paul.
Okay. Deluxe as well.
Yeah.
Mini humbuckers.
With bids at £1,900, 1950. Do we see? At £1,900.
Yeah, you do have to remember that all this is plus 26.4% commission. So think of it as a quarter again, and you're not far off. Say 1,900 for a 76 Les Paul. That's amazing.
Amazing.
That's off the chart.
Some folks doing very nicely, hey?
Now this is quite tasty. A Memphis ES 135. Big old jazz box, but 1,300.
2001, 22-year-old guitar.
Yeah, 1,400 now. This should go $2,000. And of course, bear in mind with that extra quarter again, you're getting towards that.
Yeah.
But that is really good.
1,400, and that's my buyer number 7.
I'd love. What's the name of this chap again? Did you say it was Kevin?
Luke
I'd love to know what he does to prepare himself for this absolute marathon. Think back to when you guys did your what was it, 14 hours?
He doesn't do all day. They do rotate the auctioneers.
Right. Okay.
2020 Les Paul Junior, right-hander now, 820 quid. With a P90. That's
one of
a great
those.
guitar for that.
2020.
820 quid. Okay.
How much did that last one go for?
820 quid.
Okay. Cheapest I can see new is £1,215.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah.
Well done then. Right, whose is this? Mr. Page's, no less.
Yeah. 7,002. Bottom end of their estimate, but you've got to want it, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not
the kind of thing you're going to take down the dog and duck. It's not your do all gigging machine, is it? Hang on, lads. I'm just going to restring.
Unless you're in a Led Zepp tribute.
Terrific.
My friend coming back in the UAE. You're coming back in for 1 month.
How often?
Now, a lot of these guitars will go to collectors and never see the light of day again.
Of course.
Which saddens me intensely.
Yeah.
But hey, that's not bad for that guitar, though.
What was the estimate on that one?
7,000 to 10,000.
Yeah, fair play. This is quite a punchy reserve, isn't it, on this one?
Yeah.
Trying it out this week. Very nice.
I think this is a lovely guitar. 2017.
Yeah.
950, 980, 1,000. Do we see? At 980, do we see 1,000?
Again, it's. I know it's early doors.
Yeah.
And people are kind of like holding back. But that's really cheap for that guitar. Various people are incredibly impressed at the speed by which Luke's going.
But they've got a lot.
He's got 500 lots to do,
and that's just today. This is just a marathon, isn't it? 3 days of absolute pummeling.
The last auction, I was on my way to Sam's wedding.
Okay, yeah.
And I was listening to it all the way driving to Wales.
Right.
And it got to 8 o'clock, and they'd been going since 10. And they were still. I missed the lots that I wanted because I had to go and have a life.
Yeah, of course. This is it, isn't it? I annoyingly, even though I logged in, cannot see my own watched lots highlighted in the live auction.
1150 for that exotic Strat is amazing. Okay, now we're into the sensible money guitars, as in.
This one interests me. Just in terms of it being Nashville player. Yes, it's new, but 3 pickup telly.
Yeah,
it's got a lot that it can do, hasn't it? I mean,
I've got a Nashville telly, and they're brilliant.
Yeah, Paul and I would take a telly to any gig if we could only take one guitar.
Yeah,
to have that middle pickup as well.
That middle pickup, 500 quid now, all 500.
At 500, we'll see 520 now. 500 bid, 520 now. Do we see?
That's really good guitar for that. That's a really good guitar for that. Was it made in? Where was it? Made in Mexico? Was that a?
Lot 9 is the 1999.
Yeah, it's Mexico.
New there, 729 quid.
Now this is nice. A 1999 Fender Jazz bass reissue with the ashtrays in place.
Yeah, the whole bag of mashings.
That's a really lovely bass. And if I didn't already have a Jazz that I really liked, I'd be putting in a cheeky punt. But
£880 to see 900.
That's a lovely instrument. Not that old. 23 years old. Not that old.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, to think of it like that.
I bet that's a great instrument for that. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, this is very serious. A 1966 Fender P bass.
Yeah, starting at 3.
It's got that's going to affect it. The refinished body is going to affect it.
Of course, yeah.
2,500 starting, 2006, 2007, 2,800 do I see? At 2,700 do I see 2,800, 2,800, 2,000.
Player grade.
At £2,900, we'll see 3,000 if you like, 3,000 and I'm out, 3,200 if you like.
A lot of money for that instrument.
We'll see 3,200.
But you'd never play another bass again, would you?
Yeah, that'd be the one, wouldn't it?
We'll see 3,200 elsewhere. That's £3,000.
Let's face it, as a bass player, you need 3 basses: a jazz, a precision, and something modern sounding, like a Music Man.
3 grand. So a new custom shop 61 precision in the UK 3,900.
Yeah, that's nice. 62 Fender P bass. That's and that
the age and the wood on the headstock.
It's lovely, isn't it?
See the years in it, can't you?
Start this with 2 bids that are very close. To be precise, I can start at £4,270. £4,270 I have.
Ike Stoddard, if you look up the list of chat, you'll find a link. It's Gardner Holgate is the, if you Google for that and then click on the bid now.
4,400, sir, and I am out. The bid's in the room at £4,400.
Wow.
4,600 do I see?
It does prove that body refinish really hurt the price.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
£600. My commission bidders are out, and it's bid in the room at £4,400.
That's a lovely instrument.
Hammond's going down then at
Bad, is it? Not bad at all.
Bid in the room, selling at 4,400.
Well, you can go, can't you?
4,400.
Well done, man.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Well done, man.
Well, number 12 is the 1964
Now, 64 Strat.
electric guitar.
Starting at 15. Look at the age around the upper bout under the arm.
He bought the bass to be in a matching colour to the Strat.
Brilliant.
Holding the guitar or playing the guitar when it was new.
That's beautiful.
So there we go.
I'm not sure I like the sticker on the back, but hey, you know.
In original condition.
That's awesome.
The back plate doesn't have
Who cares?
Case, but
who cares?
Nonetheless, and lots of interest in this, I'm sure. And it's
that's lovely.
£14,000 I can start. 14,500, 15,000 do I see? At 14,000.
If that goes for under 16 grand,
I don't think it will, mate.
That's an investment instrument.
It's got to be something blimey.
At 15,500.
There we go. Starting to move.
Yeah, there we go. Where's it go? Now, Luke, of course, can see where the bidders are. And I do know there are a couple of collectors in France.
Right. Okay. Well, he mentioned someone in the Middle East as well, didn't he, earlier?
Yeah.
18,500. 19,000
Get rid of that.
At 18,500, a UK
just scribbling down
20 grand.
Wowzers.
And we're in the UK at the moment against Germany.
Excellent. Old school.
20,000. I'll take 21,000.
I'll take 21. Wow. That's plus 26.5% commission.
I now have 21,000 in Germany. 22,000 do we see? 22,000.
20.
UK bidder. 23,000.
Bat it backwards and forwards, boys.
22,000.
Good lordy.
At 22,000, do I see 23,000 elsewhere now coming in?
My goodness.
At £22,000.
How nice it would be to be in the position where
To
you
have
could take those punts, eh?
If we're all short at £22,000,
Boom.
at 22.
Wow.
Well played, sir.
Well
played.
done.
Well, I'm assuming, sir. Could well be a lady, couldn't it?
And your attention on the
Yeah.
telephone.
2455 only registered in the last couple of days. And I know this because I know my paddle number. Oh, this is nice. 1997 custom shop, John Cruz Relic No Caster.
1997, John Cruz made Cornetto era. Cornetto era guitars, very collectible these days. At
Very lovely.
£1,800, I'm straight in with bids.
1900. That's.
52,000 do I see?
I don't know enough about this particular builder to really get into that.
Yeah. This is
97 guitar is still a
doesn't it? Yeah. Paul knows his builders, doesn't he?
I'm just signing off. Just pause just for a minute. I've got to take a call.
Sure. No worries. There we are. Right. I'm going to turn that on at this end so you guys can hear it. Still going.
There we go.
There you're back. Right, let me just turn it off at this end again.
£500 do I see?
Okay.
£2,400. All finished at 2,400. Last chance, I'm sure, at 2,400. 2,400.
That's not bad for that, though, is it?
So,
Gone higher than I thought.
exactly.
The John Cruz in Shadows. 1960s.
John Cruz was sacked for inappropriate language at Fender. Wow.
Was he?
On the internet,
1997, another John Cruz Strat. That's nice.
Yeah.
That is that when a kid draws a guitar and colours it in, that's what they draw.
Yeah, crikey.
Thanks,
If they can
Clive,
do it
for
by
that.
the age of 5, they've got a chance of becoming a master builder.
Yeah. Thanks, Clive, for the info on that one.
I'm interested by the custom shop element, whether or not that extricates instruments that weren't in, as it were, Fender's second, or the Stratocaster's second golden age from 97 onwards. Because there have been periods where the standard Strats, by which I mean in general rather than a standard model in particular, haven't been great. You know, think of your CBS buyouts and all the rest of it. There've been up and down times in Fender history, have there not? And some of the instruments in this auction fall into the do you really want to for that period? But when you get into the rarefied air of I'm getting a custom shop instrument or a master built instrument, you would think that that would be, you know, the superfluous or irrelevant kind of element to have in your financial equation, wouldn't you? I suppose the other thing is with all of this, you're buying an instrument on spec.
Yeah. Now this is nice. This looks really pretty.
1 of 15. Wow.
Yeah. Rafa, we're listening to the auctions and watching it and sort of commenting as we go along. So kind of imagine an auction commentary video, if you will. We are still doing the normal 8 p.m. live stream tonight, but we thought this was fun. And quite frankly, it's a way for Greg and I to be able to watch the same thing and chat.
It's just a bit of a yarn, isn't it? I've got other friends that sit and watch football together. You know,
yeah.
Prime have started doing watch parties, haven't they? So you can do Gogglebox amongst your own mates. We're essentially doing that with the internet, aren't we?
That's 2,400.
We're just going to have a couple of hours of it, guys. See, well, even if we get that far, I mean, I'm finding it quite amusing. I'm not sure how enjoyable you guys are finding it, watching two blokes, watching a different bloke sell some guitars. But hey, here we are.
If you've got with no beard and a beardy bloke, watch another beardy bloke.
The beard off. God, imagine if we had a hug, it'd be like Velcro.
No. 2005 for that guitar is beautiful. 93 custom shop. That's lovely.
One of 15 made. That's not to be sniffed at, is it? You'd think that might go somewhere. Personally, it doesn't appeal to me aesthetically, but the patina
it's
in
very
the
Lucas, isn't it?
We go on to
yes, yeah.
Now, this is a lovely
guitar. Quite decent.
Yeah.
The fact that it's American, but similarly, it's in that era where it's not necessarily the best thing. There again, given that it's a reissue against 57 specs, does it's not a brilliant time for Fender mean that you're actually doing quite nicely there? This was one of my watched lots. I was interested in this one, notwithstanding the preamble that I've just garbled through. 950. But again, if you're looking at your online bidders or online sales portals via Google or eBay or Reverb Direct, and you're looking at these numbers that we're seeing in the room, always keep in mind you're going to add 26% to that.
Yeah.
So in real terms, that's a fair chunk of cash. You can get a new version for similar money.
Now I'd play that.
Yeah, I did. You know, I thought it's the kind of thing that Paul would say, "Oh, you were wrong," and the kind of thing I thought you'd say, "I quite like the look of that." I wonder. I mean, I don't like the look of black pickups against the white.
I think if you put white pickup covers and white parts,
the price that it is. Yeah, and I wondered at the price it is if it's the kind of thing that you would buy because it's a turn of the century American standard and do stuff with. But there again, where we're starting, would it actually make more sense to simply buy a new one that's got what you want on it in the first place? Rhett Shaw has just released a video of making a basic Mexican Strat as close as you can to a custom shop,
right?
And I won't give away the ending. He spends a lot of money doing a really good job.
Yep.
Watch that video next time you've got 20 minutes to yourself. Worth a look, people. And in the context of what we're looking at here,
this is a really lovely guitar. You know, a generic,
easy on the eye, isn't it? Yeah. Easy on the eye.
That's a hell of a guitar for 700 quid. 720, all right. 800 is the upper end of the estimate.
Right.
But all these Strats are 6 to 8 to £1,000.
Yeah. I don't think it's... Well, I mean, the fact that it's a 40th year, as opposed... Oh, my end is frozen on the... No, he's back. He's back in the game.
Yeah.
It's just a 40th year as opposed to a specific anniversary of Fender. So perhaps not quite as much sell-on value. Maybe.
Now, this one I'm looking at because I thought I had a Strat Plus, but I've got a Strat Tweaked Plus.
I can start this away with bids at £800 on commission, 820 do we see?
I did, when I saw this one, think, is this going to appeal to Jivey because it's got those pickups on it?
Yeah, but I've already got a Strat. I've got a Strat Plus, but 1,000. But when you think I paid 600 quid for mine,
how long ago is that? What year is it? Yours, roughly?
89.
So it's the same year as this one.
Yeah.
And that's by 2413.
Grand. Yeah, well batted, somebody.
Mm.
This I was interested by. That is, even with your money on top.
Yeah.
Given that it's custom shop, with your fees on top, that's still intriguing. But I mean, yeah, estimate 800, and it's already ploughed through its upper end estimate.
Yes, yeah, 1450. That's not an inexpensive guitar.
Yeah, you're paying for the age of it now, aren't you? As opposed to getting a new custom shop of a particular spec. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't believe that 2001 was a particularly good year for the Strat. Oh, yeah, this thing's intriguing, isn't it?
With the Roland pickup.
Which is perfectly removable.
Paul would be recoiling at speed.
I'm sure he would simply rip it out and sling it in the bin and then have another telly in his collection.
They're only stuck on. You can screw them in, but hopefully this is a stuck on one. See, that sort of stuff scares people off. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy.
At £650, a room bid, 680 elsewhere, 680, 700. Thank you, sir. 680 to see 700 elsewhere. At £680, then all finished all short at £680. 680.
That's really good for that. Okay.
That's all, is it? That? Yeah. Yeah.
So the next one, if you want a Strat, a generic Strat.
Yeah.
96. Fender Special Edition HSS Stratocaster.
It's made in Mexico.
Made in Mexico.
It is a Mexi, yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
260, 280. At 260, we're bidding the room. We'll see 280 now. At 260, 280.
That's a crazy good guitar.
At £300.
It's all right. I listened to a lovely YouTube video of a 96 Mexi HSS yesterday. There we go. 300. That's
a hell of a
at all. It's not bad at all because they're about 700 and something quid in the UK.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of
nice.
£1,250 do we see? At £1,200 bid, 1250 now. 1250, 1300. At 1250, 1300.
Rat Bags Anonymous, do we have a courier of choice in the UK for guitar shipping? I don't. My only advice would be do not use TNT because just don't. They've damaged more things of mine and done stupid things than I'd care to mention. So, yes, Funky Bass UK, that is a stunning bass.
At £1,600, 1,650, 1,700.
That's beautiful.
1,750, 1,700. At 1,650,
I'm just again scribbling down things that intrigue me.
50, 1,700, 1,750. At £1,700,
that's gorgeous.
At 1,700, 1,750, 1,800. At 1,750, 1,800, 1,850.
That's still a hell of a guitar for that.
1,850,
Isn't it?
1,900. At 1,850, 1,900 now. At 1,850, 1,900, 1,950.
What sort of stuff have you got your eyes on for the non-instrument elements, James?
Lots of microphones.
At £2,000, 2001.
Is that because you are devoid of microphones in Dave? There are none found anywhere you look.
No, it's just because I like mics. And there's some deals to be had.
What's that gone? 2K on the nose. Well batted. What?
Guess what that means, boys and girls?
What does that mean? It's one of the things that you're interested in.
Oh.
At 1,050, you'll see 1,100 elsewhere. At 1,050, bid on the internet, 1,100 if you like.
So James is doing maths in his head as to how much he can get away with bidding, dear viewer, without Jen being overly concerned. So I shall commentate while we watch his body language. I can see on my screen that we are looking at 1,300, and we're out of the running, are we, James?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. You're done. The SG's been on your mind for a while, hasn't it?
Yes.
I can imagine that the Andertons boys, the captain and Danish Pete, reasonably recent video of Les Paul versus SG has made you even more wanton for one of the instruments.
I did watch that video. 1300 is still a good price for that, for an 89 guitar.
The 1996 Gibson Nighthawk Special.
How many instruments or lots have you got listed?
Oh, I've got my next one is a little way away.
Yeah, my next is high 100s. So
mine. I'm not that far away. So I'm curious about this Nighthawk because I've seen this same guitar in these auctions about 4 times.
The same model?
No, I'm pretty sure it'll be the same guitar.
Oh right. It is an odd shape, isn't it? That picture looks to me like someone has got a picture and then tried to crowbar it into a Word document and not quite figured out how to do it. This interests me a lot. I think this is a beautiful instrument.
But 720 for the Nighthawk, though, that's ridiculous.
That's bonkers, isn't it?
It's 96. Wow.
Epiphone have just done a limited run of Lucille's, haven't they? But this is the real deal. 25 years old, going on 26. That's pleasant, isn't it? Gone beyond its upper estimate.
I'd love one of these.
Flogging it's happy.
I mean, as a BB King super fan, I'd love one of these, but it's such a specific instrument.
Yeah. Have you had a look at that Epiphone version that they've just released?
2,300, and that's buying
2,300.
Now, this is nice.
Gibson custom historic Les Paul custom electric guitar. Lots of interest in this one, and bids going straight in.
Wow, it's already well over the estimate.
So what is it about a 94 Les Paul? Let's ask.
I think it's the P90s. I think it's the gold hardware.
At 3,600, 3,800.
Yeah, that's pushing.
Thank you on the telephone. Anyway, 3,600 to see 3,800 elsewhere. At £3,600 to see 3,800 elsewhere. If you like.
That's a lot of dough.
At 3,600.
But I bet it's a great guitar.
And they're going down at 3,600.
Still got 3,800.
3,800, 4,000. At £3,800 to see 4,000.
Wowzers.
At £3,800. Hammer's going down at 3,800.
Les Paul.
3,800.
That's not a bad price, really.
3,800 to 2,486.
Right, this is quite nice. Again, similar, but 93.
See, I do wonder about people that have just been in the running for the previous one, if the adrenaline's still running and they just carry on bidding. What was that? What did that last one go for?
It went for
3,800. So you can get an R8 vintage old stock.
Technically, this one's a year younger, so it should go higher, technically. But it's
It's not the historic spec, though, is it?
No, I know.
So historic R8 vintage old stock 58 in standard dirty lemon.
Hello. Good.
And you can
Good.
pick it up
Just watching the auctions live on the old line.
250 quid. So someone else has just got I mean, granted, they've got the 25 years patina of it, haven't they? Of maybe that's where the extra money's gone. So £1,000 less, 900 quid less. Decent. James had a look at this at
L. What number? Sorry.
Edition Carina Explorer.
James is going to mute himself in a second. He had a look at this one whilst he was at the guitar auction the other week. But unlike our friend Mr. Drew, James isn't a fan of the big neck. Not as bothered for it.
So the bill 83 and probably left the factory in 84.
Frustratingly, I can't see the comments that you guys in YouTube world
so
are making.
1983.
Put that on my phone. That might be a bit more useful, mightn't it?
And I can start this.
What do you guys think about an Explorer? Has anybody actually got an Explorer?
Hold on a second. I'm just a bit confused because I've got 3 pages on the go. 1 second.
500, 3,000.
Right, I see you guys. Oh, you're talking amongst yourselves as usual. Marvellous. There we go. Where we go? 3,900, 4 grand, still happening. Right, James has muted himself, so I'll turn the sound back on at this end. It's been taking its time, but they're really going for it now, aren't they? Yes, Al, we're starting to get into studio related, not necessarily instrument elements on the auctions tomorrow and the next day as well. It costs you nothing, Al, to get on the Gardner Holgate website, and you don't even have to register to view the catalogues of what is being sold. So you can amuse yourself having a good old read through it. It's quite good fun to do some background research and have an idea of what you think is going to tickle your fancy. Endel Rocks thinks we're going to get north of 6K on this now that they're getting into the swing of it.
5,003. Sorry about that, folks. 5,3.
And Luke
4.
5,500.
5,500. 5,600.
Oh.
I'm just saying, James, Mendel's put in the chat, he thinks this is going to go north of 6K for an 83. Let's say nothing more about your personal experience of it until the hammer's gone down. I, whilst you were on the phone, was saying to the good people that Paul likes a baseball bat neck. You're not so much a fan.
Al, there's a lot more stuff, tech tomorrow, mics and bits and pieces, but nothing high end, nothing super nice. 5.7. Wow.
So
it was a bit chunky for me, I'll be honest.
Yeah, a bit too much.
Yeah.
So for Mendel Rock's money, someone's got away with a deal there. There again,
they
Mendel,
still have their 26.4% on it.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going. Do you think with another quarter and a sniff on top of that, that they've still got a deal, Mendel? What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Songwriter Deluxe, 1,600 quid, 14 years old.
Down at 1,600, all finished all short at 1,600.
Have you got any solid top acoustics, James?
Yes. I've got my Eggle acoustic.
Cool. This one, I think this is a beautiful guitar.
Yes.
If I could afford it, I would be bidding on it. And do you perceive it's one of those things, isn't it? Of it's a boiling frog situation. Can you?
It's one of those. That guitar is way better than I deserve to own.
And is it discernibly better with however many years use in it than you remember the sound being when first you purchased it? It's one of those things of, just do one scratch a day in the wall, like in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, I would say with that guitar, it is much better with heavier strings.
Okay.
But it's much easier to play with light, obviously,
Sure.
But it sounds much bigger with heavier strings.
Right.
This is a lot of guitar.
I think that's beautiful, that thing. I think they're gorgeous, those nice.
I don't know enough about Gibson acoustics, other than,
people like them.
I just don't like it in green. And that's from someone who loves green guitars.
Yeah, isn't your Patrick Eggle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that right? Yeah. You're still getting the north out of your nose, are you?
Yes. Yeah. The north.
Just let me clarify, dear viewer. James and I weren't doing anything naughty at the weekend. We were just breathing northern air, which is natural for me, having hailed from those lands. But it was a long way from home for dear James.
At £2,600, does he
2,600? That's a lot of guitar for that money.
Yeah.
But you do have to remember. Say,
yeah.
Again.
Gibson J200. Let's have a little look.
2006.
Well, 33 is the 1989
No, I'm sorry, but that's hideous with that headstock.
So a used from Rich Tone Music Gibson SJ200 is 3,300 quid. So that's quite punchy, that 93 that just went. Yeah, this thing, I've never been a fan of Ovation guitars. The first music store I ever worked in as an early teen, there was a chap there who had an Ovation, and he loved the thing, and it sounded wrong to me. Subsequently, about 10 years later, I was in a band with a guy who bought one from, it might even have been Argos. It was a one of those catalogue purchases, and it was an absolute dog to play and didn't sound any better. It was passable once it was plugged in. It was electroacoustic, passable once it was plugged in and EQ'd to Bilio, but I just couldn't get on with the things. I've never been a fan. Have you ever played an Ovation that you've liked, James?
Yes, I played an Adamus once, which is their top end one, and it was beautiful, but it still sounds slightly wrong. Mendel says, seen that Carina era Gibson's go 7-8K, more than that on Reverb, was less than half that about 2 years ago.
Wow.
Should have put one a few years ago. Yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it? The vintage market just keeps going up and up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you making a decent?
Now that's the Ovation headstock that I don't mind, but I've got Jen's late father's old. It's not an Ovation, but it is a Volback, and I actually really like it for rhythm parts.
All right,
because it sits quite. It's quite thin. It's not big fat rhythm sound. Big fat sound.
Right, here we go. eBay Ovation 1719 custom. There's one at 889 quid on eBay at the minute.
And someone's still done all right.
So 680 plus another quarter, here and thereabouts. Somebody else has got one on eBay that is £1,300, which suggests they're having a laugh.
That Takamini's a great guitar, but
sorry, I'm going off topic here. Al's just responded with, I feel like that when I travel south of Doncaster. Well batted, Al. Good for you.
That is a really nice guitar. Those Takaminis. There's Paul's acoustic of choice is a Takamine. I'm not sure which one, but
no, I don't know what model it is either. We're into a bit of a tranche of acoustic instruments here now, aren't we?
I have to stand up because my watch has told me to. There you go.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Watch, I've stood up. I've done it. There we go.
Here's the watch that I wear.
We've just replaced the Ian's just replaced the amp as well.
Oh, excellent. That's
yes,
good.
So we have a
spare.
spare.
Is that what the phone call was?
Yes.
Splendid. James is referring, dear viewer, to one of our intriguing jobs where we do live sound at cheerleading events. And it occurred to us that the amplifier that we use in one of the rooms possibly hasn't had a service for the end of a decade. So the MD of that company has seen sense, because James has told him this might fall down, and thrown some money at a problem that might have existed. But we've now got a bit of backup, haven't we?
Yes, we like backup. We like reassurance.
Excellent.
That's not bad.
Now this one intrigues me. I like these guys. The flights that I have played sound delightful.
It's a bit of a parlour guitar, though, isn't it? It's like that tiny body thing going on.
Yeah.
Sort of thing that Sting would wander around playing.
Like an old school troubadour.
Yes, playing odes on.
With gut strings, maybe. £800.
Right, ready for this?
You. There we are.
Oh,
James and I were discussing this.
Oh my God!
Straight in there. Thanks very much, everyone, and good night. James wants a pointy guitar with a Floyd Rose, dear viewer. So there was some interest in this, but there we are. We're already come and gone.
Yeah, I don't need one that badly.
No,
because Paul would hate me for buying that.
But as ever, you are inclined to say, he's entitled to his opinion. A couple of years ago, when we did a gig down in Bournemouth, I brought with me my reverse headstock Jackson Junior Dinky, which is a few years older than that one.
Right, you ready?
Cheap one. Here's another. Right. Is this the one that's got the drop D down on it?
Axis electric guitar. There we go. Lots of interest in this one. And
go on, James. Do it. Do it. It's the right colour for you as well.
At £1,000.
Oh my God! No, instantly no.
Thank you. And on to the next one.
Instantly no.
1,000, 1,050, 1,100.
Hollywood Actress is in. £1,500. Surprised by the cost of that, Jackson. I am minded to agree, Hollywood Actress.
Yes, me too. Fair price, not a bargain. I think, you've got to go into these things if you go in with a budget and have a few things you want and accept that some things are going to go silly and some things are going to go. If you've got a lot of money, you're going to get a deal. If you're in the 500 to £2,000 bracket, you might get a deal. Right, here we go.
Back up for your other Patrick Eggle.
£600 bid 620. Do we see? At 600 with bid 620 now. At 600, 620. Do we see? At £600 bid 620.
So, James is again weighing up the how much can I get away with shifting that Gen A won't know about or B won't be too angry about. I think this is a very easy on the eye guitar. The shape of the body never really done it for me, but that collection of pieces of wood I think is beautiful. You close, mate?
£1,200.
No, because every time I hit, it just someone had clearly put a higher bid in, a higher thing.
Yeah, plus one bid.
Yeah.
Oh, I was intrigued when these things came out.
I mean,
there are a couple in this auction, aren't there?
This is a good one. This is one of the American ones with the metallic body. And they're a great guitar. They just look.
They look bonkers, don't they?
Bizarre.
Yeah, Hollywood, I agree. Sub 700. I don't know that. And I've always got the voice of Mr. Drew in my head with this kind of thing, though. If you're buying it for yourself and it's a good price, brilliant, well done you. If you're buying it and thinking I might shift that on in due course, is a Patrick Eggle really what you want, as opposed to one that begins with G or one that begins with F? And then you're back to the thing of you're buying a guitar on spec. Someone that's been sat on it for 20 odd years, theoretically they've kept it. Well, do you know that it's the original owner? If it is, and they've been on it for that amount of time, decent chance that it's all right. There's someone else just bought it on spec somewhere else on the interwebs, gone, yeah, now I've got it in my hand. It might look pretty, but it feels like an absolute bag of spanners. I'm going to shift it on. It's an eternal quandary with these things, isn't it?
750. At 720, do we see 750? 750, 780. At 750, do we see 780?
See, I wouldn't touch a Burns with somebody else's pole.
Yeah, the guys at Anderton's, amongst others, have formed a group to try and get Burns back up and running, haven't they? Lee Anderton is part of a group of people that are backing it. The only person that I can think of off the top of my head that plays at Burns is your man out of Supergrass.
Well, Hank Marvin originally was a Burns player.
Right. How much Fender gave him to shift?
Probably quite a bit.
I don't know enough about Hank Marvin in the Shadows. something I should do some homeschooling on there.
At 980, 1,000, do we see?
This has gone comfortably past its estimate, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's pretty. I mean, it's a pretty telly, Nashville telly style. It's the headstock. It just looks wrong.
God, you'd have to have a proper case for it. I would hate to have that down the dog and duck if that fell over. I wouldn't give that much of a chance. 1,050 quid. So 1,300 quid in real terms.
This I'm curious about, because I know where there's a couple of these just lying around.
Oh my lord.
Oh my god!
It's happening already. Somebody has got something very specific in mind for this, haven't they?
You need to have the other bit as well. You need to have the
yeah. I wonder if that's somebody who had one or never managed to get hold of one, or has found the other bit on a good deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's 2,578.
Strapped back.
3 Andrew Manson semi-hollow body electric guitar. One of the finest British builders.
Manson, as in Muse Manson.
I don't believe so. No, I don't think so.
£1,000 bid, 1,050 now.
Because they're closing down, aren't they? They're shutting the shop. Yeah. They've decided that they're of an age where they're going to knock it on the head.
That was always one of my highlights of the year, the Manson's Guitar Show down in Exeter. I mean, it's a long old slog from here, but...
Yeah. What time of the year did that used to happen?
1,500.
I want to say September, October time-ish.
Right. Can't hang around in Bournemouth after the end of the cheers then.
Yeah.
Just move out for a quarter of a year.
£100, 1,650, 1,700. At 1,650, do we see 1,700?
I think that's a good... I'm guessing that's a good price, but it is higher end of their estimate, so...
Let's have a look. I'm going to...
1,700, 1,750. That's 1,750.
Still going. I'm going to Google and see what comes up there.
Right, we're an hour in. They've done 44 lots. I'm probably going to have to knock it on the head about 10:30. About 11:30, because client has now decided they're coming.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think we can. We'll have had a bit of fun by then, won't we? I'm sure.
There's another couple of lots that I'm potentially interested in coming up.
What have we got? There's still 23 people listening to two blokes, listening to a man talk about guitars. It's very meta, all this, isn't it? It is like a low-rent goggle box about guitar, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's all right. I'm interested, of the 23 folks viewing, how many people are going to carry on watching this? How many of you are bidding on things over the next couple of 3 days? It'd be nice to see in the chat until we knock it on the head in about another half hour's time who's doing what, and then hopefully you'll be free to join us this evening when we potentially share happy news about things that we've managed to get a hold of, or things that you've seen that are absolute shockers in terms of what people have parted for, or absolute steals similarly.
See, I can't believe this. A 63 Gretsch Country Club's not going for like 3-4 grand.
So what's wrong with it? What's happened to it?
No, it's going now. It's going now. But still, that's well the bottom end of what they thought.
All finished all short at 1,550.
Wow.
1,550, and that's by a 2,628.
1,550.
2017 Gibson Hummingbird Pro.
61 Gretsch thin line. 7,450 quid on eBay.
Yeah.
At 980, you will see 1,000.
Interesting.
At 980, you will see 1,000 elsewhere.
Someone's got a deal there, haven't they? If it's yeah, Al, there is a lot of strats in this auction, and stratty type objects, as Gregoire would say.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of S type lots. Things that aren't quite what they seem, as it were. When you say interested, Al, do you mean interested as in it's mildly diverting, or interested as in you are prepared to put your money where your intrigue is?
That's a hell of a lot of guitar for 1,200 quid, you know. The Hummingbird Pro.
Electroacoustic.
Hammer going down at 1,250. Last chance all short at 1,250.
There's a couple of lots coming up that I'm really curious about. This next one,
2232.
an ESP
Lot 47 is the
Strat,
1980s
effectively.
ESP 400 type electric guitar in the candy apple red finish there.
It shouldn't.
£580, 600.
It shouldn't fly. But bang, you know, it's off.
£600.
Right, Anderson's Gibson Hummingbird, £3,449.
Yeah.
And that last lot went for $1,250.
On the internet.
Well batted, whoever that was. Well batted.
5680.
You guys are keeping me going on a rainy roof in Southampton, Farrad. Thank you, mate. You know,
I hope you've got your man safe all sorted, Farrad. If you're wandering around a roof, are you attached in some way? Have you got the scaffold up round you?
this one should be interesting.
Ah.
A 94 McCarthy PRS. Now,
number 2 test run.
Yes.
This is, well, we're in the rarefied air of PRS collectors.
Yeah, dentists,
all around the UK,
lawyers, beware.
Dentists' waiting rooms are filling. But I shouldn't say that. I have played very few PRSs. The ones that I've thought are perfectly playable instruments. Really nice feel to them. I'm really interested. I'm very tempted by the Grissom SE. Everybody online, lots of people that I've spoken to, saying there's a lot of guitar for £1,000.
2,700, 2,800 we see.
That's a lot of guitar for £3,000. Number 2. Al says probably to bid. I'm just gonna hide the wife back.
Coming back in on the internet to get to
I'm just gonna hide the wife back in a minute.
3,000.
Yeah.
3,200.
I wonder if that's hide from the wife.
Yes.
At £3,200.
I think it's just going to hide, comma, the wife back in a minute.
At £3,200 to see 3,600 coming in. At £3,400.
Yeah, that's in collector territory now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's in collector territory.
My old boss had a similar sort of era PRS that had the 3 hot switches rather than the 3-way, in this really nice green colour.
Sorry, I need chocolate. Sorry.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
920, 950. At 920.
Yeah, John, I agree with you for the significance of that guitar.
£120.
Yeah,
I can't remember who I was listening to the other day. It was saying that it seems a bit bizarre that PRS hasn't got nearly as much of a reputation as Fender or Gibson, given the number of decades they've now been going. They've knocked out an awful lot of guitars.
this is a hell of a guitar.
The
An
origins of rock.
Adamus is a heck of a guitar.
At 900, 920, 950, 980. At 950, you'll see
You've got to like bolt backs.
At £1,000,
Yeah,
you'll see
12
string.
1,100. At 1,050, you'll see 1,100, 1,100, 1,150. At £1,100, you'll see 1,150. At 1,200,
Anything by Christopher.
£1,200, you'll see 1,250 now. At £1,200, you'll see 1,250 elsewhere.
Brilliant.
At £1,200, you'll see 1,250 elsewhere coming in. At £1,200 then, and they're going down at £1,200, all finished all short at 1,200, 1,250, 1,300. At 1,250, you'll see 1,300 now. At £1,250. Hammer's going down at 1,250, last chance all short at 1,250, 1,250.
Wow. They
Mm.
were that new.
51, we now go on to a run, a big run of, there's lots of Japanese guitars in the next section, most of which have been consigned by a single owner collection, about 70 guitars from the collection.
Wow.
So we will see lots of
That's a
them
lot of
now,
guitars.
including the Hoyas, should I say, as well. So most of the Hoyas have come from this estate as well. And lot 51 we start with is the 1970s Hoya 5064. electric guitar, and I
I've now figured out how to set the alarms as well.
100 do we sit at 400.
Now, if this started with a G instead of an H, would we be interested?
Yes.
20, I'm out of it.
The only problem is it doesn't look quite right.
At 420 pounds,
Is it?
Yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it? It kind of looks a little bit.
Al says this auction is not helping the NAM fund. Yeah, I haven't thought of that. That's not bad. If you're not a guitar snob, by that I mean you're not.
Yeah.
Limited run electric guitar.
Then you could get some really good guitars for this sort of money.
There's a phone bit to do in 3 lots time. If someone can cover that, please, thank you.
A bit of live production from the floor from Luke there.
Yes, yeah.
At 380, 400 do we see? At 380 do we see 400 now? At 380 pounds, we'll see 400 coming in.
The internet's frozen. There we go.
With me on commission.
Yeah, it's a bit up and down at my end
I
as
don't
well.
know enough about these sort of. I mean, I know Tokai is one of those brands that everyone goes,
Yeah.
they make some amazing guitars, or made some amazing guitars.
At 400, we'll see 420. At 400 pounds, we'll see 420 now. Selling then at 400 pounds, we'll finish in.
If you are in the market.
Lot number 53 is the 1970s Hoyer 560.
If you're in the market for who was it that was looking at the Strats? Was that Al?
I think it was Al, yeah.
Custom shop. Yeah.
Itself, 380 pounds, 400 do we see?
How
380 pounds with my buyer.
how does your mindset work? Because there is
420, 440.
a number of those instruments. There are a number of those instruments in this auction. If you got one early doors that wasn't the one that you really, really wanted, would you also be thinking, well, I can shift that one on. I'm going to bid for my other one as well, see if I can get there too.
Oh no, mine goes a bit like gambling in Vegas. Once the money's gone, it's gone.
Right. Yeah.
I've put alarms on a lot of stuff. If I buy something early, and if I'm lucky to buy early, I won't probably even watch the auction from there on out, because that's like tempting fate, isn't it?
Of course.
I'm quite good at going, no, I've spent my money now. That's it. I'm done.
Fair play.
If that's the case, not only are these not great deals, but actually overpriced in some cases. Yes, indeed. You've got to add 20. No, you don't have to add that on top. That is part of the auction sale. There's only one time when I've known you've had to put 26.4% plus VAT, and that was on the Gary Moore sales. So that made some of the stuff that was Gary Moore, because Gary Moore's estate is VAT registered and in trust or something, and it made it very expensive.
Punchy.
It made a lot of stuff very expensive. Depends. If you know what these instruments are, a 1970s guitar for $1,000 or 1,300 quid is a really good deal.
Yeah.
And if you're not a guitar snob, like what I probably am, I mean, that's an amazing looking thing, isn't it?
Remarkable. Not my cup of tea, but
no. But if you're looking for a jazz box, something to put some flat wounds on and go Barney Kessel chunk, 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 all day, and do chords that tie your fingers up in knots, that's an amazing guitar. Remember, you can get burnt buying these old German guitars. See Paul's Hofner.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is not. It's on death row, that guitar, isn't it?
I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that
it
wouldn't be worth it, you're looking at 600-700 quid to get that guitar back into a stable, playable state, and it's just not worth it.
Doesn't tick the box, does it? No.
But it's a lovely thing, and those pickups are amazing. It makes a really cool noise, but it's practically unplayable.
And therein the challenge.
Yeah. So I've been lucky, but I think I've been lucky and smart in my buying. I think.
Yeah.
And I know when to, it's got to be a bargain for me to do it. Oh.
Lot 56 is no lot. 57 is the 1964 Epiphone Rivoli summer hollow body bass guitar.
This I kind of like, but not enough.
Yeah, I like the look of.
I like the kind of dubs of dub, that real dubby bass sound that you get from these things.
Very pleasant.
But even that's a lot of money for an Epi. It's 64, so it's going back a bit now. It's when Epiphone were a brand in their own right, rather than.
When did Gibson buy Epiphone?
I'll
Google that.
Google, yeah.
Google is a website that would give me the answer.
Yeah, that's. But I mean, I won't say I've been bitten in the auctions, but certainly when I bought the 12-string Echo Acoustic, it took a couple £100 to get it into a playable, stable state, and it's probably not worth that. Basically,
Funky bass, that's gone for £1,200. Given that you are an authority on 4-string instruments, is that a good deal?
Well, he said basically it's a Gibson EB2, which is a really good deal.
There's a lot of these Hoyers, aren't there? Are we about to get another ding?
Possibly. Very possibly. Who knew?
780. 780, 800.
Sorry, I couldn't play that.
£800 with my buyer, 820.
That looks hideous. Sorry, it just does.
I'm out for bids online, 850 now. At £820.
There we are.
£820 into the internet.
Any traffic updates from your client?
Nothing yet.
And that's the buyer 235.
And is there any other prep that you need to do within Dave?
No, not really.
There we go.
Right.
At 240.
Oh,
my internet's playing up a bit.
We're at 480 now on the internet rating away. 500.
Nah, it's not worth that.
£480. 500.
As a guitar, it would be nice to have. It's not worth it.
Right. Yours has got humbuckers, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's in New York. This is a New York though. Mine's Berlin.
Right.
Oh, that's £500, but it's actually 650, 700. No.
Electric guitar.
That's quite nice.
Clouds are starting to form in Burwell, but they look like rain. Yeah, rain cloud based on the evidence on the window pane. Yeah, I wonder if it's coming from the south.
Were you interested in the music, man, James? Yes, I was, and there are a few more coming up later on that I'm quite interested in. That particular one I particularly liked because it had a Floyd Rose, and I don't have a Floyd Rose guitar.
My Pointy Jackson has got a fake Floyd Rose.
No, everybody's licensed by, isn't it? Licensed by.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody used to complain about them. I never had a problem with it or with tuning. And I think it was just by virtue of the fact it was constantly in use. It was my number one for years.
Yeah.
And if you keep them match fit, then they don't tend to complain as much, do they?
Don't get me wrong. When they're not set up properly, and that's the trick, they're a pain in the way.
It went to Steve at Guitar Lodge. Ergo, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Hammers going down at £600. All finished on short 600.
A wings here? No, hideous.
Yeah. The only Washburn I would be interested in is an N2 or an N4.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
There we go.
That's a weird thing.
Yeah, that's a strange thing, isn't it? I saw
what it is it?
Of the Darkness reacting to the new Extreme song last night.
Yeah.
James and I listened to that track on the way up to Sheffield last week. And much fun was had by all. The guitar solo in that thing is just bonkers. No,
typically Nuno bonkers. It's no get the funk out, is it? It's good, but it ain't get the funk out.
Yeah, cynically, I don't think they'll top those heights again. I think Porno Graffiti 2 was their zenith. That's where everything fell into place for me with them. What's
the phrase? The stars aligned.
Yeah, exactly that.
Hammer's going down.
Yeah.
£500.
These 500, and that's these Japanese guitars are really holding their value.
62 is a 2004 Gretsch G607.
That's fun.
There we go. And at 700 do we see? At £680.
Funky Bass, what are your thoughts on this one, on this Gretsch?
At £680, then 700 for one more. All finished are we all done at 600.
Oh, here we go. They're coming in. They're coming in late and large.
At £700.
Right, into the bottom end of the estimated range. Blimey, and that's your lot. So whoever's let that one go is thinking, they're sad that it's an early lot. I'm interested to know how people's bidding changes once it gets to the back end of the day and maybe a gin and tonic has been taken, that kind of thing.
Oh, I mean, I sat the very first one I did. Jen and I sat outside in the sunshine having lunch out, and she said, "Why aren't you bidding on these guitars?" And I was like, "What?" Genuinely, I was startled the fact that she said, "Is it a good one? Why aren't you bidding on it?" I said, "Because it's not one I want." She went, "Oh, okay. That's very restrained of you."
God bless her. God bless her.
Hammer's going down at £320. All finished all short 320.
No, that's not for me.
Your number is 340.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I haven't even heard of the next bunch.
Electric guitar. There we go.
Lado and Co.
320, 340,
Made in
360.
Canada.
Made in Canada.
380, 400.
I wonder what sort of guitar they were trying to make.
Yeah. It's kind of like a really carved top, but the carve looks like it's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Like it's got like an arm carve, but
violin carve. Yeah.
Yeah.
440, 460.
Very strange.
460 now.
What's interesting is tomorrow there's some Harley Bentons, and
yes,
and I thought picking up a couple of those might be humorous. But I don't want to break my unbeaten run of actually not buying a pup.
Well, there is that. Could we put it down? Could we give you a pass in this instance, just by virtue of the fact that you're doing it for the channel as opposed to yourself?
I'm taking one for the team.
yeah, exactly. Take it out of super chat funds, maybe.
Yeah. You know, a lot of that doesn't actually get to us.
I know. I'm trying to justify to Jen on your behalf. Why have you bought this dog of a guitar? For a joke?
Well, it was one of those things. We just happened to be there, and it just happened to yes.
Yeah, exactly. Funky Bass. He hasn't done the theme tune, has he?
Sorry, I mentioned the bird Harley Benton. I'm very sorry. There's time later on. I'm sure they'll be chucking something out.
We'll do it tonight, Funky.
Yeah.
Come and join us this evening, and we'll do a full rendition for you.
That looks like something Mark King would play up here, like a JD.
It's an intriguing looking thing, isn't it? Circa 1982.
With a kind of
Is it horrible to say that in the small little picture that I've got on my screen, it looks like a bit of cut up dining table?
Yeah, it's not far off.
It might be a beautiful guitar, and I apologise to the good people of Germany. It just the tiny little icon that I've got there just wasn't much. And similarly, this thing.
That just looks like it's off centre to me. That looks.
Yeah. This looks like someone has read an article about Sir Brian of May.
Yes.
How hard can it be? He managed it. Yeah, but Sir Brian of May is a doctor. He's an incredibly intelligent chap. You look like you've had a couple of cans of stout and gone for it.
No.
I don't think I've ever played a through neck electric guitar.
Now, that's quite nice.
68 is the 1980s Lardo Classic 3 electric
Another Canadian.
And
nice trim finish.
300 on bid, 320.
You're tempted, aren't you, James? Is it a real Floyd Rose or a nice?
At £340 to a C360.
I like the finish.
40 to a C360.
I think that's pleasant. It looks like the
380.
Leicester-shaped instrument I've got.
380, 400, 420.
Oh, they're in the room. They're bidding. Oh,
480, 500.
it's a Lardo classic moment of the week.
580. At 550 to a C580 now. At 500.
I wonder. I'd forgotten about the fact that people can sit in the room. Could you live stream from the room? Would that be the way to go?
Oh, I bet they'd be 550 quid. I think it's a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about that particular brand. You know, Canadian rock maple might be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Here we go. Same thing. 2 70s Lexors. The very fact that they're starting at this this price and first impressions, again, that just looks like a teenager has drawn a Leicester. So can you make that? And someone's gone, yeah, not a problem.
Someone's described a guitar to someone who's never seen a guitar before, and this is what they've drawn on the other end.
Yeah. Draw number 8, cut a bit out.
At 240 to a C260 now. At £240,
just looks
short 240, 240, and that's by 2455. Well, 70.
This looks rather more pleasant in terms of the finish. Again, tiny little icon. You know, Cherry Burst looks quite nice, doesn't it?
120, 130. At 120 to a C130.
Yeah, somebody in the room going for it.
Yeah.
Really, the headstock inlays look really, really close to Gibson, don't they?
And yet Gibson aren't suing them.
At £240 to a C260.
It might be a done deal. You don't hear too much of Lexor these days, do you?
No, that's true.
280 in the room, 300 to a C.
I'm really intrigued by
Mid 300 if you like.
The nature.
James, there's really no such thing as a shit Canadian guitar maker. That Lando was a good price. Quality level is right up there. Interesting stuff. Well, one of those comes up again. Max has just chimed in.
My chat seems to have stopped. Oh, well.
My client's here, boys and girls.
There we go. All right, then, folks. Well, let's call it quits for now. We'll rendezvous tonight at the usual time, usual bat station. Thank you for joining us. Hope you've had fun. I hope you get some bargains if you're going that route in the next few hours. Let's have a chat this evening and see how everybody's done.
Yes, indeed. Well, have a good one. Thanks for joining us, the 20 crazy people who are still on with us. Don't spend too much money. I'll do my best not to. And we'll say, as Gregoire has said, we will see you this evening. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.
See you at 8 o'clock, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.